Now we are done with creating the service method for get employee manual and get employee AutoMapper. Okay. Now it's time to create the controller. Okay. Now let's go to the controller folder, right click on controller folder, select controller and select the empty controller and give the controller name called as home controller, employee controller. Okay. .cs. Now, as you know, like this is an API class, so this should be derived from controller base. And let's give the type of controller that is called API controller. Then we'll have to give route also. Now use route attribute. Inside that route attributes, let's simply use API slash controller. Okay. Now let's create the instance of service. Okay. So employee service class we have created. Now let's create the instance of service class. So let's create the read only variable first, private read only employee service equals to service. Okay, now let's create a constructor for service class initialization, public employee controller, and then employee service, and assign the service instance to underscore service variable. Okay, now let's import the correct namespace. Now you can see the error has been resolved. Now let's delete this method. It is not needed. We'll have to create a separate method. Okay. Now let's add a comment that is called manual mapping method, manual mapping endpoint. And let's create the first, this is a type of method, that is HTTP GET. Okay, inside that HTTP GET, let's public action result get manual mapping. Inside this get manual mapping, what we can create, let's create a result underscore service. Let's call the method that is called get employee manual. Okay, and now let's return the object or the response okay with result. Simple. Now let's create the second method. Let's give the HTTP GET method name that is called simple manual mapper. Okay. Now simple. Let's create the auto mapper endpoint. Okay. Now let's create HTTP GET. Inside the HTTP GET, let's create the auto mapper. Okay, this is an endpoint name. Let's create a method that is public action result get auto mapper. Inside that get auto mapper, let's create a var result underscore employee service or underscore service dot get employee auto mapper. Okay, now simple return result okay of result. Okay, now you can see we are done with the controller endpoint creation, and you can see the code is clean and there is no issue found. Okay, now it's time to run the application, but before running the application we'll have to ensure that we'll have to import the namespace properly here to resolve the error. Second is we don't have Swagger enabled by default. Okay, we'll have to install the NuGet packages, plus we'll have to add some some middleware also, and we'll have to register the middleware. Okay, so let's go and let's install the NuGet package of Swagger.